Hi everyone. We had some technical difficulties with the recording of the live session. So Isaac and I are going to run through the whole presentation together. Luckily, our chat logs did save, which is the most important part. So we have everyone's comments from the live session. So we'll just get started.
Okay, so as we previously discussed, our goal for the engagement sessions is to understand the social and cultural context of Strathmore and the Wheatland County in order to shape the project's vision. With your input, we're working together to look at the different levels of social architecture as it will shape the physical architecture. We started with the site context on session number 1. Then we moved inward to the communal spaces during session 2. And now we're looking at the resident neighborhoods and suites. Once again, we will use the question, how does the built environment promote healthy living and sustainable communities as it relates to the resident neighborhoods and suites? While we're answering the question, we also want you to consider how these design decisions can foster strong relationships between residents and the community, residents and staff, and really focusing tonight with the residents with other residents. The amenities inside the lodge are important spaces that we need to get right because they will support the daily life of each resident living in the building.
There are 4 design principles that will help us determine what are the important design decisions we need to design for, as well as they help guide us through the design process into the construction of the facility to ensure that we are delivering what the community needs and wants. So the first one is functional independence. The built environment supports individuals' remaining abilities with dignity and respect. 2, engagement. Indoor environments create opportunities for meaningful activities and fosters relationships. 3, health and safety. Interior design elements and furnishings are responsive to the aging body and minimize risk. And lastly, we have quality of life. The built environment will foster socialization, emotional well-being, a sense of self, and support lifelong interests.
So designing for senior living has changed a lot over the last decade. As we understand more about the aging body, the mental health, and the different care models, the way we design and talk about senior living has changed as well. We're striving to change the perception of long-term care facilities and assisted living from being institutional and hospital-like to small homes where intentional communities are developed and high levels of care are offered. An interesting shift we're seeing is moving away from all terms like pods, wings, and clusters as we talk about the group of resident suites, to using the terms now like neighborhoods. Whales and pits lives in pods. People lives in neighborhoods. This term really aligns with the person-centered care model. Another term we're moving away from is home-like. While this term has good intentions, the physical space is not meant to be home-like, but to be a home.
So this leads us right to our first question, is what does home mean to you? So for those of you who are answering or filling out our questionnaires, we're willing to encourage you to think about what does it feel like, what does it smell like, what do you hear, what does it feel like? So kind of think about like all your senses and how that relates to what home means to you.
Okay, so this evening we will share with you 2 examples of how neighborhoods can be configured. There are really endless ways to arrange a neighborhood and the overall building shape. Significant limiting factors that determine the neighborhood configurations are constraints of the site and also the project budget. The more we understand the social architecture, explore designs, and understand your spatial relationships, the better we can design your new facility. So the first neighborhood plan we're showing is quite common to senior living. This plan shows a double-loaded corridor, which means suites are on both sides of the hallway. These lodges typically have a central and large shared common spaces like dining rooms and activity rooms as well. Also, this type of configuration stacks well for multi-story applications and is primarily budget driven.
So the second configuration shows a central space surrounding a grouping of resident suites. So during the last few sessions, we've heard that people would like to see more options for dining spaces with access to snacks and flexible meal times, as well as more options for intimate spaces to converse with family and friends. This plan offers these amenities. This additional space found in the neighborhoods does not take away from the communal spaces that we talked about during the last session. Simply, it's an additional space to make sure that we are meeting the needs of a wide range of people. Using a neighborhood model with amenities like kitchens and living room spaces helps us to maximize the flexibility of the neighborhood. For example, this neighborhood could be used for memory care, supported living, or even independent living. Additionally, this type of space planning is beneficial for future flu outbreaks by creating cohort families. Residents will not be limited to just their private room, but they'll be able to come out of their rooms into their neighborhood for activities and meals.
Okay, so this is one poll we want to ask you this evening, and the question is, which neighborhood style do you like more? Yeah, with that, we just want to know what stands out to you the most about the one you choose. So this is the poll question. Yeah.
So building on that, what amenities or features should be included in the neighborhoods? So we've talked about how we like to see kitchens and living rooms, but what other things can we add to this space to really enhance creating and building on those strong relationships between residents and staff and the residents and residents?
Okay, so the next question is, what features and amenities will make the staff's daily procedures more efficient in relation to the neighborhood layout?
So this one here, so we have an image of the existing suite at Wheatland Lodge. The total area is about 290 square feet. So what I know is what is currently working well in this suite layout, what can be improved. If you or someone you know has lived in one of these suites, can you share a bit about your experience in this, living in this room?
So next question is, what are important features or characteristics of the suites that we should consider? Again, think about privacy, location of washrooms, orientation of the bed, any windows that may be important to have, KitchenAid, lighting. So yeah, please provide your thoughts and answer on the question.
So that kind of sums up the different levels of social architecture for the lodge itself. So we've had great conversation starting from the site context to the common spaces in the lodge down to the resident suite. So now we would also like to know what should the current lodge be used for once the seniors move into the new building. It's good to consider what other kind of social agencies are in Wheatland County, in the villages, in Strathmore that maybe could use this building.
So in preparations of next week's session, we have the question, and we want to ask you if you have any questions regarding the hospice care facility that you would like to be discussed during next week's session. Yeah, just anything that would be something you would like to hear or to bring up into the topic.
Wraps up the whole session in a very condensed format. So once again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. technology, we thought we had it all perfect this time, and when we went to go and save the file, it gave us a little surprise. So we hope that doing a quick little one really makes up for that. And like I said, the chat logs are saved, so we do have everyone's comments from all the questions already. So please join us for our 4th session on October 29th at 7 p.m. where we will be discussing the hospice care facility. If you have any additional comments or questions, please fill out the questionnaire that is available on our website starting tomorrow, and then we'll close it Monday at noon. And we'll upload all this information to our website. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to the next session.